I really learned how to manipulate women. I really learned how to like exploit people's weaknesses. I really learned how to identify when people got daddy issues. Like, no, that's actually whack. But bro, don't believe the hype though. I've had women give me bad advice like when I was a young man. There's an older woman, she told me, she's like, yo, you a handsome young man, you about your stuff. You should be out here, like, get locked down. You should be out here sowing your seeds, like, whatever. Man. Goal is to make what's not cool seem cool. So the only reason why people don't think like holy relationships are dope is because it's not being painted as such. You know, like, bro, I'm like a wingman for Jesus now. You feel what I'm saying? You know, victory is found in much wise counsel. If you really can't deal with your flesh for real, like, this is an out I created for you to stay holy like I'm holy. You know, because at the end of the day, like, I still didn't fathom that this was a ministry. The woman that I dated, or the young woman that I dated in high school, you would have thought we got married, but it was funny. She knew I was really into, like, my faith. Yeah. And so she asked me, she was like, yo, like, would you marry me if I don't become a Christian? And I...
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back. Another episode of Montgomery's Meaningful Monogamy. And when you see me, when you see this setup, you know that we got another banger interview for y'all. So this guy that I got here, special guest, he's been a good friend of mine, members of Epiphany family. So all my Epiphany family that's watching, y'all going to be in for a treat. Without further ado, my guy, my partner in ministry, Brother Nate, what's going on?
What's up, family? Good
what's
to
going
see you,
on?
Jay.
Yeah. Yo, like it's funny because we were chopping it up and like I always like we never really got a chance to sit down and chop it up like like us in person.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, like why don't we just chop it up on the pie? Because I mean, your testimony is so dope and how like the Lord is moving in your life and how the Lord is just really rocking with you in this season and like. You look like the type of person that men should strive for as they're waiting for marriage and as they're like just living out their calling, you know, for Christ, you know. And I was like, yo, bro, I just want to sit down and rap with you and hear your story and just kind of like, no, like, how did you like get to this level of confidence and this level of just contentment in the Lord, yo? So, just want to just, you know, chop it up and, you know, we can sit down and just really give the people what it's like to really submit yourself to the Lord. So just want to just get you to introduce yourself. What is it that you do? And, you know, just kind of give everybody an idea of who you are.
No, that's dope. Well, thanks again for inviting me on. My name's Nate Pyfrom.
Mm-hmm.
Like where you get your pie from. You know what I mean? And, you know, man, I believe in bridging the gap to keep the hope intact. So that's like really... What I show up as.
See, I know it's gonna be. Go ahead, bro.
You know what I mean? So I mean, if you see me at anything, typically I'm doing that in some sort of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been actually rocking out with Epiph since about like I think I joined as a youngin' in like 2009. You know what I mean? Graduated high school in like 2010 from Central. You know what I'm saying? Class 269.
Hey.
And then, you know, I left to go to Florida, came back in like 2012 after school, went to Full Sail University.
What part of Florida?
That's in Winter Park. It's like a suburb of Orlando.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so that was cool. Got my bachelor's of science in recording arts. Came back in 2012 and sheesh. Yeah, I immediately started like just going back to Epiph, and then you know, from there I think a lot of life just happened really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was like smooth sailing from the beginning. My dance community got me a job, so I was actually becoming a music director. And that's like when I first got into more of the formal settings of education. It was like a STEAM program.
Nice.
Where, you know, I'm leveraging all the elements of the actual hip-hop culture, you know what I mean, in order to meet students and children right where they are.
Yeah.
And so, again, we was bridging gaps to keep the hope intact.
Yeah.
So, like, with, you know, that, we was doing, like, breaking, graffiti, DJing, music production, video production, graphic design, and then the community outreach. So that was really dope. During my time there, you know, it allowed me to do everything I love to do, which was really engage with music in a variety of ways, you know, and people. And so all through a positive culture.
Okay.
And so like that joint was great. Yeah. And then like not too long after, I think, let's see, my daughter was born in 2016.
Okay.
So maybe 4 years before that, maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe like the year of 2012 when I came back, maybe it was the year I met her mom. Yeah, maybe to like the tail end of that joint.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the rest, we dated for a long time, wound up getting married, like, you know what I mean? Just because, to be honest, like her mom had found out that she had wanted to get pregnant, but this was like the second time. You know what I mean? And so we just like made sure that, you know, we both was on the same page about like if she had got pregnant again, you know what I mean? That's not going to be an out. Yeah. So no, that joint was no joke. So it was one of them times when it was like, dang, like this joint might really be the case. I've been with her for like 5 years. You know what I mean? And you know, I know the whole fam, that whole nine. Yeah. And they all love me. So whatever, like this is probably the mature up and do the right thing time. You know what I mean?
Okay. And I want you to hold that because I want you to dive more into that part. But I also wanted to know, like, when did you come into your faith and when did you begin to walk with the Lord? Like walk me through that journey. How did that come about?
To be honest, bro, like I got introduced to God like early on. You know what I'm saying? It's not on something like, oh, I was devout Christian or nothing. Like I always grew up around the word. Yeah. You know what I mean? And around older people. So I like certain things kind of became like, oh, I was getting used to hearing this and hearing that. Yeah. But like really, when I first started like rocking out with God was probably when I was in Florida for real. Like just for my own like really.
So during
like,
college,
tasting and seeing if the Lord was good. Yeah. Because God told me to read the Bible in order to better do His will. At this one point, right? It's one of them joints when I was by myself, and I basically felt like I had like a Samuel moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? You by yourself, God call out.
Speaking
you like,
you.
Somebody.
Yeah.
But I ain't had no pop there. Like Samuel had, you know what I mean? Eli, you feel me? I ain't had that around. It was just there, and I was like, well, I know, you know what I'm saying? This is how you get down.
Yeah.
And so, like, but it was funny, bro. Like, literally, you know, in the midst of, like, I really didn't do anything but get, like, ensorcelled by the word. So it was, like, crazy. Like, you know what I mean? When he told me that, I literally was like, all right, so, like, what you mean? There's 66 books in this joint. Like, what you want to start with? He had me start Revelation. Read through that joint, and it felt like 5-10 minutes, bro.
So like, when you were in, as it happened when you were in college, like, like kind of like express that whole scene out. Like, what were you doing? You know, was it a certain moment, like were you around a certain amount of people?
No,
like,
I was by myself.
How did it all go down?
No, you good. I was by myself, bro. I was at the house.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You just had epiphany. A light bulb came on.
And no light bulb, nothing, bro. Like, I just got finished cleaning. I sat on my bed, you feel me?
Okay.
And literally, I heard God tell me, like, yo, read the Bible. He's a Nathaniel. Like straight up called me by name.
Wow.
Like, excuse me, no, like, you know, trying to scare me out my skin type, John. Yeah. Just straight on some, you know, I already knew you type. You know what I'm saying? Read this, John, in order to better do my will. Like, wow. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, bro, but the funny part was, like, the whole time I was down that joint, my grandma, she always be trying to send me books and tapes and all this, bro. I'm hitting that joint to Mr. Miyagi. I'm like, I ain't got no time for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to accelerated school. Like, I ain't got no time. Yeah. My bachelor's I got in like 20 months. You feel me? Yeah. Wow. So, like, you know, but then the funny thing was she got me this particular Bible. It's like Life Application Study Bible. Okay. Spent bread to get my name on it or whatever.
Like grandma was like, no,
right, you feel me?
I'm gonna get you right.
I'm gonna get you right. Eventually, whenever, right?
Yeah.
Bro, this wound up being like right upstairs, like linked against the wall, you feel me? So when he told me do that, Joe, I'm like, yeah, I mean, crisscross applesauce, you feel me? And I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, this Joe right here, this is crazy. So, you know what I mean? Just I grabbed that joint and sat back down. Yeah. And then, you know, started rocking out. But it was dope. Like, he was just leveraging, you know what I'm saying, the fact that, you know, he attract people to me. You know what I mean? But he just allowed me to see it. It wasn't for him. Like wasn't my fault. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for my sake that people was actually being attracted to me. You know what I'm saying?
It was for him.
It was for him. Like, and it'd be wild, bro. Like all sorts of different people, bro. Like, I met mugs who like escaped through Xannies. Like they know that they black out through Xannies, but they just like really bang with me. So it, like, you know how wild it is for somebody to have gone on a date and to ask you how the date went. Cause they know they met up with you, but forgot everything about the date.
Wow. Yeah.
so he's speaking to me like, "Yo, bro, what happened?" I said, "I had a good time." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So God had me around all sorts of people, but it was like, it was wild. Even one of my good homies, you know what I'm saying? At the time, he was Jehovah's Witness, like, but just what the Holy Spirit was sharing with me about Himself. You feel me? I kept asking my man, like, "Bro, why you don't go to church? Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, you know, I got, you know, I'm JW. I got to wait for somebody to take me." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Bro, you know God, living God, right?"
Right.
He like, "I mean, what you mean?" I'm like, "Bro, God will meet you right where you at."
Yeah.
Like, so he like, "Hold on, for real?" I'm like, then we start going through the scriptures.
Yeah.
And I'm showing him like, "Yo, this is kind of God we got." You feel me, bro? Like, not even a week or two after. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Bro, I'm not Jehovah's Witness no more." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I actually know that Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just lit. Like, he just had this whole epiphany.
So he was evangelizing right after you had, you know, had that encounter with the Lord. Like, you started, that was what, immediately right after you?
Yeah, like, all of that was sequential. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because what would happen is people would already know, like, oh, Nate might just pop up randomly reading Proverbs, like, or have his Bible, or, you know what I mean? And I had designated time, so like God was leveraging my hunger for wanting to know more, but actually like guiding me through. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, early things that was given to me is like reading Proverbs and Psalms, and then like it's particular cadences out there for people, you know. But at that time, I was doing like, I at least read through 5 Psalms a day. Read through at least 1 proverb. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Because then I got really familiar with the Psalms. And then I got very familiar, you know what I mean, with at least a proverb a day to chew on. Right. As I was going through, you know what I mean, the New Testament and all of this kind of stuff.
And so all right, so you're in college, you get saved, you
well, I was already technically saved. I gave my life early.
Okay, right.
But I didn't know what it meant to walk with the Lord.
Okay, so it was the discipleship part.
Yeah, he discipled me himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, did you get led to a particular church, or like, you know, did you get led to a particular community? Like, how long before you got into community? Or like, because I know you said you was with the Pith in 2009. Like,
yeah. So
how did that work?
My man Lemuel, he's still doing well too. God been blessing him for just being diligent. But yeah, he a b-boy. So like my background is all in dance and stuff, breaking, popping, house, all that. Shout out to Rennie Harris, Face to Flav, you know what I'm saying, Engine. Yeah. And all of those good folks. Raphael, Xavier, Zen One, and all them.
Okay.
But yeah, so my man Lemuel actually was the one who I met him at a breaking event. And then he just started chopping up the scriptures, like on something real natural, like, but it was just all genuine, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was a person who literally didn't care about nothing more than your soul. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
it was
them,
just,
the real ones.
It was just super dope.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, bro, where you worship? Like, yeah, that's literally how I'm just listening to my man. I'm seeing how he engaging with everybody. I'm like, yo, he not putting on the front. Like, this is actually who he is. Like, right. You know what I mean? Which is so seldom to experience.
Yeah.
And especially with like my experiences growing up, I didn't find a lot of men who were like solid men while still being submitted to God. Like, you know what I mean? And he wasn't pulling a holier than thou thing. He just really was walking out there like others may, but you cannot. Like, it was just like rocking with it, like solid. He would never look at you pompously or anything like that. He just came with so much grace and love, but he'd always speak with truth. Okay. So he was the one that introduced me to Epiph, and back then they used to call Epiph like the hip hop church. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like literally, bro, during praise and worship, like I know you know, I came up in a Baptist setting, I guess. So same. You know what I mean? You know, you occasionally see somebody run around or something like that. You know what I mean?
Doing their laps.
You feel me? But bro, like we was having backflips and like windmills. You know what I'm saying? Real rap. We was saying backflips and windmills and stuff.
Break dance in the middle.
Yo, in the back, like you feel that joint, you catch it, you say, sit on more. Everybody in the back going. Yeah, for real. So you know what I mean? Like that, but it was so beautiful at the time because for me, especially like at that age, I'm like probably like 18, you know what I'm saying? So it just gave me a completely different experience with the Lord, like and his people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Coming from like the older, more stoic, even though you could run a lap, like everything else is very reserved, right? You know what I'm saying? So like I never seen people really just be like, no, this is all actually worship. You know what I mean? And this is what it means to like love God, but actually become yourself more. Not put on more of a front. Yeah. Because you now love God. Like you know what I mean?
It's like you're finding your real authentic self.
Right.
As you're worshiping, and that's how it's supposed to be. You know, it's not supposed to be like, okay, all right, now be this Baptist worshiper, or be this Pentecostal worshiper.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also what happens when people don't put the word first. So but I digress.
But that's what's up. So you're in college, you come out, you graduate, and then that's when you started to get into coming back into Epiph, right after college. Okay, so this is around like
2012.
2012. Okay, and so from there, you mentioned that you were married. Like when did you like that was as soon as you got out of college, your mindset was
I was
okay,
like 21. I turned 20. I turned 21, I think. So when I got back, I was about to turn 21. So maybe I turned 21 that year.
Yeah.
And so no, technically that would have been 2022. That's what I think that's how that would have worked. Yeah. But long story short, I think I was 25, so bang, 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 bang. Another 4 years. So maybe in 20, because that's why by 2016 I got married. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so when I came back, bro, like I was really just focused on, to be honest, I wasn't even really focused on having no girlfriend or nothing. Like I was just really just focus on like, yo, this is the chance to use my degree. Like I don't gotta be a statistic. You know what I'm saying? Getting a degree that you don't use. You know what I mean? God allowed me to leverage something that is kind of a niche. Like I got my bachelor's of science in recording arts. Yeah. Like my dance community called me and offered me a job that was connected to my degree. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that was all, God just setting it up. And then the fact that at that spot I got to do everything that impacted me to become the person I am now. Okay. You know what I mean? So I was just focused on just killing it, like professionally and career wise. Right. To be very honest.
So how did that come about with you meeting your wife at the time?
To be honest, bro, I met her through just being a good friend. Like, my man, ex, was coming through, and he knew that I know how to communicate. So he was like, bro, I need you to answer the door. You know what I'm saying? I got to run and grab some things. Yeah. While everybody else get the house together. Yeah. And so, like, she was with her friends.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Okay. And so, how long were you married for?
We was together for 8 years. Total, we was married for 3 years. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But we got, like, separated, like, probably in the first 12 months.
Oh wow! How did that happen? Break that down. What happened?
No, it's crazy. No, actually it's not crazy. It's just I was drawing. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, because like, and it's not justifying anything. Like you know what I'm saying? I definitely came up in a situation where, like I was, like the whole wifey, mistress, and girlfriend, John. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of the whole thing I got programmed on. So I was the 9-year-old hanging out with 15 to 21-year-olds.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying? So I just was already
my mindset was already
I was through. I had the 12-year-old. Like when I was 12, my folks set up for me to sleep with a 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And then then I was also like making out with 18-year-olds and like just doing different things. So
you was living every middle school boy's dream.
Bro, I'm crying. It's a horrible dream, bro. It's a nightmare.
I know.
Yeah, no, but it's funny. It's the nightmare nobody tell you is a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Because like what's wild is my man who really like grew me through all of that and really treated me as a little brother. He got killed right after telling me not to like see him as a role model. You know what I mean? He literally was like, "I know you look up to me, but don't be like me." Wow. And I'm like, what? Because when he was like, bro, I know you look up to him. I'm like, duh. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the spiteful young boy. You see what I'm saying? So like, I'm like, what you talking about? Like, bro, everybody look at us and think we twins. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So excuse me, yeah, I got trained with a lot of habits that seemed like it was a good joint. It's probably good in like God utilizing it is good because there's a lot that I know now. I have crazy amounts of insight. You know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing. You know what I mean? But a lot of the stuff I did was perverted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, and me being a middle school educator, been in middle school for the past 12 years, and it's like you see that within the young adults, especially the boys, and how like, especially now being that role model to teach them like, listen, you don't just because you're going through this change doesn't mean you have to lean into that. You don't have to lean into that perversion. There's a healthy way to go through puberty. There's a healthy way to go through that change because we all do it. We're all human. But it's the protection of that innocence while you're going through puberty that can keep some of these young boys from just messing up their life, man.
I mean, look, the Bible say direction without enthusiasm without direction is no good. So I mean, it just is what it is. When adults want to not be candid, then you can't do nothing.
Yeah,
we're the bestowers of insight.
Yeah,
it was sad though. Is like gamers get it more than like Christians get it.
How so?
Because gamers have things they buy or go online to view called walkthroughs.
Yo, as a gamer myself, I got that.
We're like, duh.
That's true.
That's what you supposed to do.
Go through the tutorial.
If my man keep dying at the boss, I'm not gonna keep watching him struggle. I'm gonna tell him you playing wrong. Like,
man, I'm gonna go through the tutorial.
Yo, what you got in your arsenal, bro? You not using this right. No, level this up. You need some of this. And no, this is his pattern, bro. You ain't peeped the pattern yet?
Yeah. Yo. Wow, that's good. That's good. And I think that's something that we should, as the leaders, as the adults, change the narrative. Because when I was growing up, it was more just like, oh well, are you into girls? All right, cool, and then there was no real talk of just besides don't have sex until you're married, or make sure you use a condom.
Right, right.
It was just never any wisdom behind it of like, no, like if you do this,
scaredy talk.
Yeah,
it was just scaredy cat talk.
Scaredy cat talk.
Meanwhile, Jesus not a scaredy cat.
No,
exactly.
He's ready to dive into all of that. Why? Because he's the one that created it.
Yo, but see, that's why what's wild, bro, is like the goal is to make what's not cool seem cool. So the only reason why people don't think like holy relationships are dope is because it's not being painted as such.
Yeah.
So what's wild is like, like, bro, I'm like a wingman for Jesus now. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because like but you know what I mean? But before this shift, this is why it's funny. Like, not how you always say be bold.
Yeah.
So like in darkness, I was bold as ever. Like it's a lot of bold things I've done. So like, what you mean I'm not about to be bold and I can do it all in the light, bro? Like you done messed up and found the right one.
Yeah.
So look, that's why like for my married homies, I am encouraging them. I'm telling them like, yo, you got community and insight and information and resources that I did not have at the time. You know what I mean? Now God is sovereign, so like He allowing everything to go well, and I appreciate every way He providing. You know what I mean? And sustaining currently, right? Yeah. But like, bro, to have resources and like real community and people that really do want to see you succeed in your marriage and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You don't succeed well when you're the best of the worst. You don't have anybody telling you to aspire towards higher moral values.
Yep.
So it's like the song I was listening to. He said, yo, man only desires man. They don't desire holy things from you.
They don't.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so yeah, like that joint is no joke.
So you said that you were married for 3 years, and then the first year, the first 12 months, you said it was wilding. What kind of like led up to it finally being like, okay, all right, we gotta go our separate ways?
Yeah. So let's see. We got separated the first time because like some dirt I did during us dating, like had came all back. But there was no way for me to deny like that it wasn't a recent occurrence.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was the first time I was like, dang, I'm like super salty right now.
Yeah.
No matter how much gab you got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that happened. And then, to be honest, yo, that joint turned into something where it wound up being like physical. You know what I'm saying? And I wound up getting wild on all night. And because like me witnessing my mom get like mangled, like I seen the repercussions of fights.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? because she had an experience and where I came home and she had a black eye and all this, like my mom and all this. So for me, that's just a no-no. You know what I mean? Now she was in a gay relationship, homosexual relationship, whichever you want to say, which was cool. Like the person was cool. Like our Ben knew. My mom Ben came out like since 3rd grade. So it was what it was.
Right.
But I just thought that was wild. Like, you know what I mean? Cause the house was just disheveled. You could tell they was going at it. So for me, that was always just like, nope. Like, you know what I mean? And I know I'm heavy-handed, like all that. I'm just, nope. Like, it's just not about to happen.
Yeah.
I'm literally not about to lose my freedom. Yeah. And so it became a situation where it was like, no, you was wilding. Like, I'm not staying with you. And there's no way, like, the thing that messed me up was just like the trying to justify it. So then it became like clear to me that kind of dynamic had already been something that was kind of getting condoned, like kind of like that baby boomer generation where they like, you know what I mean, whatever happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors.
Right.
But me, I don't know. I can't turn off questions like, but what happened when you hit the person too hard?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, and it's just wild. So I can't even really fathom that. So, you know, I actually had to go through a whole experience of being lied on and then going through the court stuff and you know, losing the job I thought was dope and all that. You know what I mean? And so I was still happy that I filed the divorce paperwork and all of that.
Yeah.
Just because like, I just
how has that process like shaped your view of like relationships at that point? Like you're just going through all of that.
You know, victory is found in much wise counsel. You know what I mean?
Was it now was that your mindset post the divorce? Like boom, year one, day one. Like how was that Nate compared to now?
The Nate now I just matured so much more. The you know, right after the divorce stuff and all of that, I really, you know, I ain't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but you know, I definitely had to make sure that I was choosing to be accountable for like what I contributed. You know what I'm saying? And so like that whole John, that's the whole thing, bro. Like doing stuff physically first is a bad John. You know what I'm saying? So that
explain
was
that. Dive into that because I mean we have listeners and a lot of them. I think it's about like 60% of them are men, which is interesting because like what you know we got a lot more men interested in our marriage content than we do women. Yeah. But they might be quiet though. But they will speak up on other social media platforms. But a lot of them would just say like, you know, oh, you don't have to wait and all that. You know, that's too much or like from your experience, what you know, why would you say that the physical isn't all that?
Man, Lord, man, I had the right words to say at the right time. You know what I mean? Because I want to have some couth and decorum around it. Yo, to be honest, bro, you know, you don't gain anything by doing the things that mean the least. You know what I mean? So like that whole statement around little things mean a lot. Even Boys II Men made this song, Little Things Mean a Lot. You should check it out. It's a good John. But talk about just appreciating what you got because you don't know what may last. You know what I mean? So if you can find out what's actually valuable, you know what I mean? Which is really like, you know, especially in this walk, like it's interesting. A person has to really fathom. It's kind of like how Pastor E going through it. Like if you can fathom the fact that there's this big story that goes on thanks to who Yahweh is. Yeah. And the fact that he's actually inviting you into his narrative, then like actually it's super intentional that you are aware of, all right, if I'm about to, you know, consider getting married, like what does he really think about this? Right. You know what I mean? Not like in my situation, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I just need to leave more childlike ways behind and then I could just figure this joint out. You know what I'm saying? Because no, it's actually, it was still wrong of me, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I still didn't fathom that this was a ministry. Like, it was a lot much more that I was actually supposed to be aware of in order to hold myself accountable to the fact that I know, like, bro, like, I just entered into creating an actual ministry, a blood ministry. Yeah. Like, my daughter is actually a disciple. And this whole thing called sex was created to create more people who will worship the one true God, right? Like this is just real
is way deeper than just satisfying yourself,
which is so wild, right? So because then Like that's the whole thing though. This is when it gets dope though, cause you like, no, okay, so the guy who made sex, cause they don't never say it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Actually intended for it to create more people who would do everything to worship unto him. Right? And then the whole thing is, excuse me, because you know, discipleship, your child is actually monkey see, monkey do. People love to be like, do as I say, not as I do, but that's not how it works.
No.
So why? Because if you peep any parent, because I'm a single parent, but any parent is going to notice that your child actually does what they see you do.
Yep.
So that's why even Yahweh is like super concerned about us being doers of the word, not hearers only, unless we deceive ourselves. Why? Because then people who want to imitate us in our likeness will do things that's not aligned with his will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
So
speak of X.
like that's why it's wild, because you know, from me giving him my petty, which is blessing my daughter, you know what I mean? And then also it happens to bless me because his ways are better than my ways. His thoughts are better than mine. When I do choose to do that stuff, I see the benefit of that. You know what I mean? So the fact that like I got a lot of stories that sound like them joint like bro was getting it. Like, no, that's actually whack, because now I see like, no, I really learned how to manipulate women. You know what I mean? I really learned how to like exploit people's weaknesses. Like I really learned how to identify when people got daddy issues. Like this is the handicap that they now have, and this is how they try to fill that void.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I'm only seeing like half of the coin. You know what I mean? Because my guy would tell me like, I never forget when I was 12, and I slept with this 16-year-old, right? I kind of really didn't want to do it, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It was just whatever. Like, and so once it got done, it wasn't like I really liked her. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, man, I need to get out of here. Like, I ain't trying to chill with Shorty.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I looked for the greatest opportunity, which was my mom wanted me to go clean and do something, which was great. I was right across the street, literally. Yeah. And like, so she wanted me to go do something. I'm like, perfect. I can get out of this joint.
Right.
And like what was wild was my man, you know, people would call this like, I guess, emotional, you know, maturity, right? Or intelligence rather. But he was like, bro, like he wanna come in to get me later. Like only like 10, 15 minutes. Like he gave me a little time. And he's like, bro, see, this is why you don't get no girls. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you can't be out here. You just did all that and now you ain't gonna hang out. You gotta come back and hang out for a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he knew, like, but see how like
how many
wise as a serpent he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the amount of insight he was working with. Like, even if you're not about to be with Shorty, bro, like you got at least. And so it was wild. Like that was the whole perverted outlook I had on all of the insight that was given to me. You know what I mean? So then it perverted like the affinities that God will allow me to have with other women. Not all of it, because like nobody ever knew who I slept with. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I always was cool with women, like a multitude of women. And bro, if you see me in high school, bro, I had women whose laps I could sleep on.
Yeah.
And they just playing my hair. I had women who would feed me, like all that. But it'd be chilling. I get massages, like back massages. Like I'm sitting up though. You know what I mean? But it'd be, and people would be like, oh, it's my friend. So but that's why it was always wild. Like I knew how to create that blurred line. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was like, nah, it's not good, bro. And because then too, like when do you get the chance to know somebody when you being physical?
Right.
You can't converse and kiss. It don't work the same way.
No.
So you know what I mean? And then when you pillow talking, you're not talking about lifelong dreams and visions and aspirations and
you talking about the next time when y'all can do that again.
Do that again.
The next 10, 15 hours.
And then most of the time you just conspiring around that. So you're really using each other for an escape. You know what I mean? When really God wanted you to go through everything together. If you're going to choose to be together, right? And y'all supposed to get through it by pushing each other towards him and redirecting each other towards him. Like that's really what's happening. So like that the lack of that being like known commercially, because then what would happen if like youngins just got married earlier because they was more clear about like what was happening.
Right.
Like, no, this is my responsibility, which is what? First to do to one another's. If that's my sis or if that's my bro in Christ, like first is the one another's. Why? Because that teaches me how to be an unperverted person who helps people, not because I want something from them. I'm not trying to manipulate anything from them. Like, You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm legitimately doing what God said to do, which is just be known by how we love one another. So
Yeah.
the one another's allow you to be unperverted to your opposite sex and love them well.
And literally love them like they were your brother or your sister.
You see what I'm saying? Unpervertedly.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's great because then you can make that cool, which then creates clarity around how you relate to the opposite sex, right? And then now this has nothing to do with sex. So you create all of these opportunities for people to just get to know the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of my friends who you know, they call me the cool nerd, even though we all nerds at Central. You know what I'm saying? But like, yo, the ones who is like not into the stuff that I had got groomed up into, bro, a lot of them got married. They met each other in high school, stayed together.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the woman that I dated, or the young woman that I dated in high school, you would have thought we got married, but it was funny. She knew I was really into like my faith.
Yeah.
And so she asked me, she was like, yo, like, would you marry me if I don't become a Christian? And I was like, no. Like, it was wild, bro. I had to really say no. And I tell you, like, I knew she loved me. Like, my mom knew she loved me, all that, bro. And it was just wild. I was like, I really got to tell her no. I was so mad she asked me that, bro.
Yeah.
I was super heated. I thought I could just avoid that joke for the longest. But yeah, man. So yeah, I would definitely tell mugs to wait. Like, actually, I told one of my homies one time, like, everybody else was trying to tell him that, you know what I mean, had sex with this girl. And I told him, like, it's not all what everybody make it cracked up to be. You know what I'm saying? And, bro, it was wild because after he slept with Shorty, because I was the only one who told him not to, and then he's like, bro, you was the only one who told me not to, and look at all this stuff I got to do it now.
Yep.
And I was like, I told you. Like, because people try to make that stuff seem cool.
Yeah.
Because of peer pressure, not because they actually care about your future.
Bad.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what's wild, you know. A lot of things make it seem like you're missing out. So a lot of people want to do it because they feel like they're missing out.
Right.
But bro, don't believe the hype though. Like, I've had women give me bad advice like when I was a young man. Like, bro, I'll never forget. There's an older woman. She told me, she's like, yo, you a handsome young man. You about your stuff. You should be out here like, yeah, I mean, don't get locked down. You should be out here sowing your seeds, all right, whatever.
Man.
Right? Look, woman.
Old head.
She
Not
like,
the old head.
bro. Then she like, yeah, but if you was a young lady, like, I tell you the exact opposite. Like, I tell you keep your legs closed, da 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 da. And bro, like right there, that was the epiphany. Like, that hit me because I'm like, yo, hold up. Excuse me. I'm like, yo, this woman, if I listen to her advice, I would actually miss out on all the dope women.
Yeah.
Because everybody who she told to keep their legs closed wouldn't deal with me. If we keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying? She telling them, no, if he love you, he going to wait. And you should wait until you know that y'all going to get married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And me, I would try to talk your panties off at the time. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it would have been whack. Like, I'd have never met you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just wild that that's really the like the programming that's out there at large.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, no, tell mugs no, but then you gotta fill it in with what's better.
You know, it's like when I was in college, and I actually lost my virginity when I was in college. And it's funny because like it was this girl that I was seeing, and it was mainly peer pressure because my guy friends, they you know, I would hang out with them, and I was just trying to get to know them and be cool and be, you know, because I wanted to be in the in crowd with them. And like, you know, me, you know, good looking guy. There was like, you know, there was this one guy who always had girls at his dorm, and like he was smooth talker, and so we would be in his dorm, you know, his dorm and another dorm with the Xboxes linked up playing Halo. And I mean we would be there until like 1-2 o'clock in the morning playing Halo. Us and like 8 other dudes. You know, you had a system linked with the 2 Xboxes, all that. And so I remember it was this one girl that he brought over there, and like, you know, I was looking at her. She was like, I looking at me. You know, I thought she was cute. And then my friend, he was the one that told his girlfriend at the time to tell the girl to, like, you know, to come holler at me. And so she came, you know, hollered at me. We started talking, and then like, you know, next thing you know, like we was dating, and then it all happened so fast. You know, I ended up, you know, we ended up sleeping together, losing the virginity. But then immediately afterwards, like, and this was before I rededicated my life to the Lord. I felt immediate conviction, like afterwards, and I was like, man, this was not what it was all that I had dreamt it and hyped it up to be. It was like, nah, I feel bad, you know. I feel, you know, and then to top it off, I had like a little cold, And so I thought that at the time that I had caught something. I was like,
I'm
oh man,
crying, you was
Lord.
paranoid
Yo,
and
the way that I was
convicted.
walking around campus, like I was like, Lord, please don't take my life.
Yeah, I'm crying.
But yeah, because like it over delivers, over promises and under
And undelivered,
delivered.
yeah.
And um from that point on, like it turned my mind off to what I thought it was to then afterwards I was like, well, dang, well, maybe if I do it again, it might be better. But
Mm-hmm.
do it, you do it again, it's not better.
Mm.
And then it was like that for me with different girls. Like, okay, if I do it again, it might be better, but
Mm.
then it's not better. The situations change, the circumstances change. We
Cause you
girlfriend,
still
boyfriend,
doing it wrong.
still doing it wrong.
Yeah, cause
And
you can't play house.
no, and it wasn't until my wife Brie and I we started walking with the Lord, took our lives seriously, took our walk seriously. No sex, no, not even sleeping over in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
When she moved up from Houston, she stayed in my apartment. I lived here, and it was like we not doing none of that until the wedding day, and then afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, like what the no condemnation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like
Yeah.
there's so many men that's chasing after that, that's chasing after that feeling, and then once they have it, especially men in the faith, chasing after that, and then like, oh man, I messed up. Whether it's through
Mm.
pornography, whether it's through just we just slipped up and messed up.
No, I mean, cause you don't slip up and messed up. Like it's just all intentional.
It
Yeah.
is,
So yeah,
it
I
is.
mean, unless you get roofied, you know what I'm
Uh
saying?
huh.
You know,
Yeah, you right.
but not because, and I said that way just because what's interesting, bro, is we just got so much more power. You know what I mean? So there is power in making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So like just how you ain't had to sleep with shorty, like you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So but it seemed like the thing to do.
Yep.
Like this is the whole perception. So that's why I'm like, nah, man. Especially for the stuff that really matters. Like this was wild, bro. Like at the end of the day, if as long as y'all both in Christ, God gonna provide.
Yep.
That's what's wild about the whole dynamic, right? So then biblically, like, what is he telling you? Like, if you really can't deal with your flesh for real, like this is an out I created for you to stay holy, like I'm holy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But this is the parameters around it. Like, I don't want this to become your next idol.
Mm.
I still want to be the one that you worship and serve with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I've created a way for you to have somebody that now is your compadre in this joint. Like, you know what I mean? So y'all keep each other sharp. Y'all can call each other out. Y'all can, but the whole thing is out of this holy love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but people not always willingly, voluntarily being transparent enough for people to see, like, oh, this is how it is on Christ's side.
Mm.
It seemed like this real, like, do you even have sex when you get married? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's how it really get painted. And so it doesn't seem like something that's approachable. And
Right.
then, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I think people should know, like, what? Like, God's way is actually much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also your body is like reset. So if you never did it, that's great. Like, but if you did do it, you know what I'm saying? Your body does do a reset when you choose to just no longer feed it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then you get a chance to, Lord willing, if you get married and get the license, now there's no condemnation. So you are literally experiencing something new, right? And you get to really taste and see that the Lord is good, at least in that area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he wants you to know that the Spirit is first. So you then got to supplement this, bro, like with knowing that you got to flip the whole script. So it's wild. So then, going to like some of the other things that you had asked me, like, yo, what does it look like now?
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you.
You know what I'm saying?
How did that Nate post divorce then turn into this Nate now? When did that come about?
Sheesh. Just realizing
When did it click for you?
Bro, it really clicked. Let's see. It really clicked once I realized that the Nate this now. It realized it kind of actualized. One of my mentors told me, he said, bro, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
He said the highest form of success is your private life matching your public life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I had asked God, like, yo, help me out with this affinity thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know that every shorty that I get cool with is not meant for me to bond. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that's the case. But so he would plant seeds in my head, like, what would it look like for you to be cool as ever with women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you just never perverted with it. So you always just
Mm.
optimizing it. You just adding, like, you know what I mean? And so I shifted into like tasting to see if that would be good. And it's good.
Mm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
because it benefits my daughter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, so for instance, when I'm at Epiph, I know mad women, like, you know what I'm saying? But literally all of those women I know actually are leveraged from my daughter, to be real honest, because now
Mm.
they are her different aunties.
Yeah.
And different people see different things in her and they pouring into her. And because I literally make sure I'm not drawing, like she gets the benefit. Sure, I'll
Mm.
get some cookies or random, can I take your daughter time? Like, and I'll
Yeah.
be like, sure. You know what I mean? But this creates this whole thing where like whether it's like my guy friends who are married or like other people who are still single, like single women, like they
Right.
know that, oh, okay, like Nate's just a bro. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And if anything, he gonna try to bridge the gap to keep the hope intact. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so that's beautiful because like I'm thankful most that my daughter gets a ton of healthy examples of what, you know what I mean, godly womanhood, especially a woman of color. What
Mm-hmm.
does that look like?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so she gets to see like this rainbow of assortments. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's been great. You know what I'm saying?
That's key. That's
Yeah.
that's that's important because I think that too. It, we both have daughters, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're striving to show them what biblical masculinity really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me growing up, I didn't see the biblical version of it,
Mm-hmm.
and like what it really meant to be a man of God, and like
Mm-hmm.
really exonerate and exemplify that for your children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that what we do is important, especially with matching, as you said, our private life with our public life. And it's like making sure that you have people that hold you accountable. Do you have like an accountability group at a PIF, or do you like have accountability people that kind of hold you to that?
Yeah, God let me know who I can just be stupid transparent with. Like,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Like Superman vision. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So and I just follow that. So yeah, he put like different people, both men and women, who just know me plainly. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can also experience to one another's. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
And it has been beneficial. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because then different people really be checking in on me because they know, you know what I mean, really what
Yeah.
my mind be and like where
Because
I'm
we're not all perfect. Yeah.
exactly. I
And
mean, but
man,
that's why it's dope. Like we entered into a faith that already said, yes, I already know that you're gonna mess up. Like, you know what I mean?
mhm.
But then created all of this grace and this provision, and we got justification and expiation. Like, you know what I mean? So it's all these things that came with it. So I'm thankful that God allows me to see how the community that He saved me into, right? This
Mhm.
family, this body, is actually where I received my TLC.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, while I'm forgiving those who trespass against me, you know what I mean, and all that good stuff, I got people who pour into me. I got people who bear my burdens, who pray for my sins. You
That's
know what I
good.
mean? So I could get saved from it. Like all these different things, and also like, cause it's wild, right? Why would God say that a friend, a rebuke from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because your real friends in Christ are supposed to really call you out.
Yeah.
Based off of what? What we say that we agree
Yeah.
is the best thing for us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean, Yahweh. Like, so this is why I think it's dope that we get to actually be in, even that's humble, right?
Mhm.
The fact that you got people that's like, no, your way is not better than my way. His way is better than our way.
Yep.
Bro, we gotta get close this way.
Right.
All right, see where you're going, bro. That's the wrong way. Like, come back this. You know what I
And
mean?
that keeps you from making the standard you, because the
Yes,
standard's outside of you and I, it's him.
exactly.
And that way, okay, all right, even if I'm wilding and I'm trying to hold you accountable,
Right.
that means that you can't say, well, all right, well, since you wilding this way, I can wild this way. So no,
Right.
because we have a standard,
Exactly.
and that's one thing that you see a lot of you see a lack of that in a lot of these like relationship spheres, especially today, in this crazy social media just vacuum of just like, you got men that are like, oh, I'm a high value man, and then you
Mm.
got the red pill guys, and it's like these guys are basing what the standard is for manhood based off of themselves, and they're not basing it off of a higher power. They're not basing it off of the one who created the standard in the first place.
I mean, what's wild is like that's why the only non-toxic form of masculinity is like the imago Christi. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get transformed into Jesus's image, like you no longer toxic. Like
No longer.
yo, because like, so Pastor E did the joint about, purpose, identity, and value. Like, and that's the whole thing. Like, if you know that your purpose, identity, and value, if you know where it comes from and who it's found in, you can operate in a sober fashion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of that, I'm the high value man or whatever. Like, all that's weird. Like,
It's
you know what I'm
weird,
saying?
yeah.
Just because like Jesus was a servant leader. You know what I mean? So he literally would have been like probably one of the most chivalrous, like thoughtful, compassionate, considerate, you know what I mean? Real heartfelt, like, you know what I mean? His EQ was on the bean, his IQ was on the bean, like, because that's the word wrapped in flesh. Like, he embodied the fullness of the fruit of the spirit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, like, that's why I do think, again, hopefully, you know what I mean, we'll experience, commercially more people just understanding how straightforward our faith is and like what we're actually supposed to be exhibiting, because then all of that don't make sense. You know what I mean? Because we'll all be, that's weird, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what you mean you high value? Like, bro,
Yep.
like the high value comes from the fact that you found in faith, like based off of Christ. Like, that's the high value. But what is this?
And you know what I think too? I think that the Lord is intentionally allowing things like, the Kevin Samuels, the Fresh and Fits, the all those other type people. I know it's one guy now. Yeah, his name is Fugazi. Like it's a listen, listen. It is crazy. Name is literally Fugazi, but
Yes,
it's people like that I think that the Lord is intentionally allowing to just rise up and then show that this is toxic, so that the people can say, you know what, nah, we don't want that. And then that's when the truth can come in. Then that's when the Lord can send what biblical manhood looks like, what being a man really looks like, which is, the imago Dei, the image of Christ. I think that's what's really happening, is that all this stuff is failing, so that they can see that, oh, so it's Christ that stands, it's his image that stands.
but it gotta be people who bold enough to choose to do it, because it's always been there. It's kind of like, you know what I mean, when Elijah thought that he was the only one. It's like, cuz, chill that out. Like, it's over 3,000 other people who still called on me, bro.
So in other words, they need brothers like you and I to step up. And
I mean, look, and when Jesus was still alive, he said, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few.
Labors are few.
And he was still alive. And so at that time, so that's why I'm just looking at it like yo, it's always going to be understood that, people are going to have their own agendas. The thing to stay focused on is, at this time, the real thing to do is become biblically literate. You know what I mean? Most of people's qualms are the things that they don't know, and it's just because they don't inquire well.
Yeah.
Keyword well, just because sometimes they inquire, but it's one of them like half-step Jones.
It's a little devotional.
What? Not even devote. Like, bro, it's whack. It's like, I had the inquiry. I overheard somebody said it. It kind of sound good, so they must have read it. Like, you know what I mean? Bro, I just had somebody people tell me all sorts of weird stuff they heard. Bro, I'm at work one time. Not my current job. Shout out to Logan Hope. You know what I'm saying? I was at work one time, and, these fifth graders was like, yo, Mr. Nate, such and such, out of respect to the gentleman, such and such, you know what I'm saying, told us, the whole class, bro, told the class that tongues is the language the devil don't know. And I was like, I don't have a poker face. Like, since I don't have a poker face, I'm like, who told you this? They told me, and I'm like, because you gotta watch what you say. Kids them doing the heart.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I'm like, where does that in the Bible? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? The whole time, like, he spoke to Yahweh and Job. Like, so what is this nonsense? And then, so I was like, all right, the Holy Spirit let me show them that, like, okay, we gotta go to Babel right now. Like, do y'all know about the Tower in Babel? Like, we gotta go to the beginning. Like, okay, so everybody spoke the same language over here. He told you that he made all these other languages so they would sound like they're babbling to each other because of their pride. You know what I mean? He cast them all aside. Like, Okay, go to Pentecost. Now
Right.
follow me over to Acts real quick.
Right.
Okay, on the day of Pentecost, over 500 people that after receiving the Holy Spirit all heard people sharing the gospel, the
Mm-hmm.
good news about Yahweh, about our
Mm-hmm.
Messiah, came from Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Called Yeshua HaMashiach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, but they heard it in their native
In
tongue.
their native tongue, right?
You know what I'm saying? So
That's what threw them off.
so that's why it's this thing where you guys see like, no, God is showing you I had power over the tongue now, I got power over the tongue now, and you're gonna use it for my purposes though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if not, I know y'all gonna be tripping.
Yep.
So it's just wild. Like that was nothing more than just me knowing my word
Good.
in context though.
That's good.
For them to have clarity, for me not to defame boy and say boy weirdo and da da da, because boy is a pastor. Like, you know what I mean? But this let me know because I'm not aware of the commercial dynamic. Like I overheard the Kevin Samuels bull and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's weird because it don't exist. Like a lot of these notions don't exist.
They don't.
So that's why it's just biblical literacy. If people get real serious on like, you know what I mean, just knowing the fundamentals of the faith, just right there is going to dispel a lot of the nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it's no way that the early church and you know Israel knew that most things you would wait for.
Right.
That they knew that, you know what I mean, the Messiah was already supposed to come and how he was supposed to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then, excuse me, you know, then as if the guy who said he's decent and orderly wouldn't have an infrastructure.
Right.
So this is why I think, you know, hopefully in our generation, we get to see more people who are bold to be like, bro, that's actually apologetically, bro, like that's not it.
Yeah, that's false.
Yeah.
That's good. And I want to kind of wrap on this. So question. Do you have a desire to be married or to get married?
Yeah, I think it'd be dope still. I still would like to have kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask, as like for like the closing segment, I wanted you to go ahead and look at your camera there, and like if you had an opportunity to say something and to peek through, like to give a message to your future wife, what would you say to her? What would you give to her? Like like what words of encouragement, maybe words of wisdom, like what would you say, hypothetically?
It's funny. You know what I mean? It's like we both committed to love Christ more than we love one another.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's the catalyst for you outperforming one another. That's the catalyst for you having grace. That's the catalyst for you know what I mean? You taking the time, hopefully, to get to know a person for their spirit, then their mind.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then in the modern day, you know, circumstance, being able to then share the physical. I mean, that should be the case. Because everybody fails themselves. That's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in order to really operate in that way, like, yo, just remembering that we both signed up to love Christ more than we love one another, and to do that well. You know what I'm saying? Because then I think that's going to create a lot of bliss.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Holy bliss is great. You know
It definitely
I'd rather
is.
be a fool for Christ than for the world.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And it's funny because one thing that Bree and I started doing is that we started doing morning and evening devotionals, and like a part of our devotionals, we always read 1 Corinthians 13. And it's like that's kind of like a checklist each day. In the morning we'll read it, and then in the evening we'll read it, and it's like, okay, all right, how were we patient today? Were we kind? Were we irritable? You know, and I think those are key, and just kind of checking yourself, but then also looking for those things in your future spouse.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's dope because that's actually what it is. Like, God allows you to know yourself better, know what you can and can't do. He's a guy who deals with the inside.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he cares most about our devotion to who he is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I like having resources like devotionals and other things to help prompt you to becoming more devoted in different ways. You know what I mean? But yo, we just supposed to abide in him, bro. Have a desire to seek his face, right?
Definitely.
So you know what I mean? I think it's dope. You know, Lord willing, you and I both in our lifetimes keep seeing a new generation of people who think holy marriages are dope.
Listen.
And that waiting is worth it. You know what I mean? Because if so, what you're going to have is like a higher, you know, divorce success rate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're going to have people who actually so much more sober into getting married than they are about thinking that it's like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The world says that marriage is for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's for your romance. It's for your success. You know what I mean? God said, yeah, I will add everything unto you. But you gotta look at it like I look at it, or it's not gonna make no sense.
Yep.
I already told you my ways, not your ways.
Yep.
I already told you my thoughts, not your thoughts.
Yep.
So I need you to see from this vantage point that you can't see from unless you see like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
That's good. That's
yeah.
good. That's good. All right, Nate. This was good. Yeah, I appreciate this convo.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like you gave such insight and such wisdom with just how to navigate singleness while at the same time thriving in it. And not having your past define you. So, appreciate you for this interview, bro.
My man, I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So y'all, we appreciate y'all. If y'all like this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button, like, comment, follow. Y'all just go out there and just do all the things that they do on the YouTubes. And you also go out there and make today meaningful. Peace.